The bell rang and the classroom buzzed with chatter, but your eyes stayed glued to the attendance sheet. As the class president, it was your duty to mark latecomers. And of course, Jungkook walked in 10 minutes late, hands in his pockets, not a single care in the world. His uniform tie was loose, his hair slightly messy, and still, girls sighed as if he had walked out of a drama. You narrowed your eyes, double quotes, Jeon, Jungkook, late, again. He leaned on the desk in front of you, smirking. You sound like a broken alarm clock. President, do you practice scolding at home too? The whole class laughed. Heat rose in your cheeks, not from embarrassment, but from pure irritation. Some of us actually take school seriously. Unlike you, you snapped, scribbling his name down. He tilted his head, his smirk never fading. Relax, topper. One day without rules won't kill anyone. You clenched your pen so tight it almost snapped. He always did this. Challenged you, mocked you, and somehow managed to turn everyone against you, with just a few words. The teacher entered, and Jungkook slid into his seat at the back, acting as though nothing happened. But as you turned the pages of your notebook, you felt his eyes on you. For a second, quick, unreadable, then gone. To everyone else, it was obvious. You and Jungkook hated each other. But deep down, something in his gaze said there was more to it. The day was ordinary, until the new boy, San, walked into class, He was polite, friendly, and unlike Jungkook, he actually listened when you explained class rules. President, can you help me with the notes? San asked with a warm smile. You nodded, relieved to have someone respectful for once. Of course. I'll show you after class. From the back of the room, you felt a pair of eyes burning into your back. Jungkook leaned lazily against his chair, arms crossed, expression unreadable. At lunch, San sat next to you. You're always busy, helping everyone. Do you ever take a break? You laughed softly. Not really. Comes with the job, I guess. Before San could reply, Jungkook suddenly slid into the empty seat beside you, placing his tray down. With a loud thud, this seat is taken, he muttered, looking straight at San. San blinked in confusion, but it wasn't. It is now, Jungkook said flatly, picking up his chopsticks, like he owned the place. You frowned, Jungkook. What are you doing? Go sit with your friends. Double quotes. He smirked, not even glancing at you. What, can't I sit, with my favorite class president? You glared, cheeks burning in annoyance. You're only here to annoy me. Maybe, he said, eyes flicking briefly to San, or maybe, I just don't like crowded tables. San, sensing the tension, excused himself politely. It's fine, I'll eat with the guys. You turned on Jungkook, the moment San left. Seriously, you scared him away. Jungkook shrugged, stuffing rice into his mouth. Good, he talks too much. Later that day, when you weren't looking, Jungkook cornered San near the lockers. His expression, was no longer playfully, was sharp, dangerous. Stay away from her, Jungkook said quietly. San blinked. Why, you don't even like her? Everyone knows that. Jungkook's jaw tightened. Just don't. If you know what's good for you. San scoffed, but didn't push further. Meanwhile, you were walking down the hallway, annoyed at how Jungkook always got under your skin. What you didn't know was that behind all his smirks and sharp words, jealousy was slowly eating him alive. Sometime later, the picnic, the school picnic was supposed to be fun. Students were laughing, playing games, running around the field. You tried to enjoy yourself, but somehow, Jungkook's constant presence behind you made it impossible. Why are you following me? You snapped, when you caught him trailing you for the third time. He smirked. Don't flatter yourself, President. I'm just going where the fun is. You rolled your eyes and walked away. As the sun set, everyone gathered around a bonfire. Someone shouted, "Let's play Truth or Dare." Excitement buzzed through the group. When it was your turn, one of your classmates grinned mischievously. Why, in truth, do you like someone? Dot dot. Your face turned red instantly. What kind of question is that? Answer, President, they chanted. You looked down at your hands, heart racing. Then, in a soft voice, you admitted, yes, I do. I have a crush. Gasps erupted. The girls squealed. The boys started guessing names. But your words weren't what stunned everyone. It was Jungkook's reaction. His smile froze. His fists clenched tightly in his lap. He tried to laugh it off, but his throat felt dry, his chest burning. He couldn't even hear the noise around him anymore. And I'm going to confess to him soon, you added, quietly, though your voice carried enough for everyone to hear. That was the breaking point. Jungkook abruptly stood up, muttering, I'm done with this stupid game, and walked off into the dark. You blinked after him, confused. What's his problem? Far away from the firelight, Jungkook paced back and forth, his emotions boiling. She's going to confess. To who? His voice cracked with anger. Why didn't I say something earlier? He raked his hand through his hair, biting his lips so hard, it hurt. For the first time, the confident, cold Jungkook looked lost. Then, in the corner of his eye, he saw you. You were walking towards San. Jungkook's breath hitched. He quickly stepped back, hiding behind a tree, his heart pounding, and he watched. He watched as you nervously smiled at San, gathering your courage. And then Jungkook's worst fear came true. You confessed. Your palms were sweaty as you stood in front of San, glow of the bonfire flickering behind you. San, you swallowed hard, your voice trembling. I like you. I've liked you for a while now, and I just, I had to tell you. For a moment, silence hung in the air. You waited, heart thudding in your chest, praying for even the smallest smile. But San's expression shifted into awkwardness. I'm sorry, he said flatly, scratching the back of his neck. I'm not interested. I like someone else. The words sliced through you like glass. Before you could even react, he added carelessly, almost coldly. You should stop wasting your time on me. And with that, he walked away. You stood frozen, his rejection echoing in your ears. Your chest tightened, tears spilling before you could stop them. Slowly, your knees gave out, and you sank to the ground, hugging yourself as sobs shook your body. What you didn't know was that just a few feet away, Jungkook had seen everything. His fists trembled at his sides, jaw clenched so tightly, it hurt. His chest ached at the sight of you breaking down. His enemy, his dumb bird, reduced to tears. Without thinking, he rushed to your side. Hey, don't cry here, he murmured, crouching down. His voice was softer than you had ever heard it. You looked up, startled, eyes red and wet. You here to laugh at me? Idiot, Jungkook muttered, pulling a tissue from his pocket and holding it out. Do I look like I'm laughing? You hesitated, then took it, wiping your eyes. Your voice cracked as you asked, why are you being nice to me? Suddenly, you hate me. Jungkook froze, his throat tightening. He wanted to scream. I never hated you, I only loved you. But the words refused to leave his lips. Instead, he said quietly, just don't cry in front of me. I can't stand it. For the first time, the smirk was gone. No teasing, no mocking, just Jungkook, raw and real, looking at you. Like you were the only thing in his world. And that night, everything between you two began to change. The bus ride back from the picnic was loud students singing, laughing, retelling the day's adventures. But you sat silently by the window, staring at the dark fields, rushing past. Your reflection in the glass showed. Swollen eyes, tear-streaked cheeks. You pressed your lips together, trying to hold yourself together until you got home. When the bus finally stopped at your station, you quietly stepped off, clutching your bag. The night was unusually still, the street lamps flickering dimly. You sat on the bench at the bus stop, burying your face in your hands. Tears slipped out again. No matter how hard you tried to stop them. You really don't know how to stop crying, do you? You flinched and looked up. Jungkook was standing there, his hands stuffed in his pockets. What are you doing here? You stammered. This isn't even your stop. He sat down beside you without asking, leaning back casually. Guess I felt like taking a walk. Turns out my walk ends here, with a crybaby. You scowled weakly, wiping your face. Don't call me that. For a while, neither of you spoke. The only sounds were crickets and the occasional whoosh of a passing car. Then, without a word, Jungkook shifted closer. His shoulder brushed yours. Here, he said softly. Use it. Your eyes widened. What? My shoulder. Lean on it. Before I change my mind. You hesitated, then slowly let your head rest against him. His warmth, his steady breathing it, made your chest ache in a way you couldn't explain. After a long silence, you whispered, Why are you suddenly good to me? You always hated me. Jungkook stiffened. He stared at the ground, his heart pounding. I never, he began, but stopped himself. His throat closed around the truth he wasn't ready to admit. He cleared his throat, forcing a small chuckle. Forget it. Just don't see me as your enemy tonight, okay? Even enemies deserve a break. You blinked, looking up at him. His profile under the streetlight was unreadable. Beautiful, but hiding something deep. And for the first time, sitting there with him, you weren't sure if Jungkook was your enemy anymore. The next week at school felt different. You noticed it first in small things, when you dropped your books in the hallway. Jungkook, who usually laughed, was the first to bend down and pick them up. He shoved the stack into your arms, muttering, Don't be so clumsy, President. But his touch lingered for just a second too long. At lunch, you forgot your lunchbox at home. Normally, you'd just buy bread from the canteen. But before you could move, Jungkook slid his tray toward you. Eat this. I'm not hungry. You blinked. What? But don't argue, he cut in, leaning back and stretching like it was no big deal. But you caught the small smile tugging at his lips when you took a bite. Everyone else noticed, too. Are they friends now? A classmate whispered. No way. Jungkook actually gave her food. I swear, he glared at Minho, just for asking her the time yesterday. Rumors spread like wildfire. You overheard girls whispering in the restroom. Did you see how he stood up for her? When that senior mocked her for being rejected. Yeah, he told him to shut up. Jungkook never does that for anyone. You tried to ignore it, but even you couldn't deny the change. One afternoon, as you walked down the stairs, your foot slipped. Your heart lurched until strong hands caught you, pulling you back against a warm chest. Careful, Dumbo, Jungkook murmured close to your ear. His breath tickled your skin. Do you have a death wish or something? You quickly stepped away, flustered. I'm fine. Don't act like you care. He smirked, shoving his hands in his pockets. Who said I care? You're just too loud. If you fall and cry, it'll give me a headache. But as he walked away, you caught him glancing back at you. His expression soft for just a second before he looked forward again. And in that moment, your heart skipped. Because maybe, just maybe, Jungkook wasn't your enemy anymore. Exams were finally over, and for the first time in months, the school grounds felt light and free. Students laughed, making summer plans, running across the courtyard. You were walking home alone, enjoying the evening breeze, when footsteps fell in beside you. Walking home without your bodyguard, Jungkook's voice teased. You rolled your eyes, but your lips curved up slightly. You're not my bodyguard. Could have fooled me, he muttered under his breath. For a while, you both walked in silence. The sky was painted in shades of pink and gold, cicadas buzzing in the background. Finally, Jungkook stopped. YN. You turned, surprised by the serious tone in his voice. His usual smirk was gone. His eyes were softer, almost nervous. Do you? He hesitated, his fists tightening at his sides. Do you still like San? Your chest tightened at the memory, but you shook your head firmly. No, not anymore. Something in Jungkook's shoulders relaxed. He let out a breath he'd been holding for months. Good, he said quietly. Then he looked straight at you, his gaze burning into yours. Because I don't think I could stand it if you did. Your lips parted. What are you saying? For once, Jungkook didn't look away. His voice trembled slightly, but his words were steady. I've been an idiot. I hid behind teasing and fights because I didn't know how to say it. But the truth is, I've only ever wanted you to like me. Only me. Your eyes widened. The world seemed to fall silent, just you. And him, standing there as the evening light wrapped around you. Tears welled in your eyes. But this time, they weren't from pain. You let out a shaky laugh. Idiot, I liked you all along. Even when you were the most annoying person in class. Jungkook's lips curved into a real smile, soft and vulnerable. He stepped closer, gently brushing your tears with his thumb. Then don't ever look at anyone else, he whispered. You're mine now, Dumbo. And before you could reply, he pulled you into his arms. Warm, safe, and so full of the love he'd hidden for far too long. The next day, when you both walked into school, hand in hand, the entire class erupted in shock. No way, enemies. Since when? You laughed, cheeks burning, but Jungkook only smirked, proudly pulling you closer. Let them talk, he whispered against your ear. You're mine. That's all that matters. And for the first time, you weren't his enemy. You were his everything. The next morning, the whispers hadn't stopped. Every hallway you walked through was filled with stares and murmurs. Are they really dating? No way. They hated each other. Look, they're together again. You sighed, clutching your books tighter. This is embarrassing. Walking with his hands stuffed in his pockets like the king of the school. What? Scared of a little attention, President. You glared. Easy for you. You love being the center of attention. Only when you're next to me, he shot back smoothly. Before you could reply, a group of boys started whispering a little too loudly. Is she really dating him? She doesn't even look like his type. Maybe he's just messing with her. Your steps faltered, your chest tightening. But before you could turn, Jungkook suddenly grabbed your wrist and pulled you against him. You gasped as your back hit the lockers with a soft thud. Students froze around you, the hallway going quiet in an instant. Jungkook leaned in, his hand pressed against the wall. Beside your head, his face dangerously close. His eyes, locked onto yours, intense, protective, unshakable. Then, without a word, he tilted his head and pressed his lips softly to yours. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't for show. It was gentle, lingering just enough to silence the whispers. Just enough to tell the world you were his. The hallway exploded in gasps and screams. Oh my God. He really kissed her. Enemies to lovers is real. You pulled back, breathless, your cheeks flaming. Jungkook, everyone's staring. He grinned, brushing a strand of hair from your face. Good, let them watch. And with that, he kissed your forehead softly, before intertwining his fingers with yours and walking you down the hallway and caring of the chaos behind. Because for him, this wasn't a show. It was his truth. You were his, forever.